Hey Chaotic Crew, Brian here, and we've got another Mystery Booster Commander for you today. This one is interesting because he was actually an Alchemy Commander last year, and he is just a really fun commander to build around, so I'm glad that we're getting him in paper. But before we really dive into the deck and the commander, I want to let you know this episode is brought to you by Mana Pool. It's a fast-growing marketplace for Magic the Gathering that makes buying and selling cards easy. Their optimizer helps you get the best value in buying cards, and the team is focused on making it a great experience for buyers and sellers alike. Shout out to Mana Pool for helping out the channel, and make sure if you want to pick up any of these cards, check out the affiliate link in the description below. But Tsagan, Raider Warlord, is going to be our commander for today. He is a 3-mana Mardu Dinosaur Berserker, a 1/4 with double strike, and start your engines. If you have no speed, it starts at 1 and increases once on each of your turns when an opponent loses life. Max speed is 4. And whenever Tsagan attacks, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn for each creature you control with first strike or double strike. So already, even without the start your engines, that's really strong. And then max speed is saying that Tsagan has death touch and other creatures you control have first strike. So he will give the rest of your creatures first strike, and then he himself gets death touch, which is really, really strong. And yeah, very, very good card here. Very fun to build around. He is a blast. So let's dive into the actual deck. We got 27 creatures, right? He cares about having creatures on the battlefield. You could go for just trying to get max speed and going so wide with your tokens that he gives all of your creatures first strike and then he makes himself massive. That's not a bad way to go about it. I just like having a really great package of creatures, right, to support him, to get your max speed quickly, but also to work really well even if you don't have max speed. But yeah, you're probably going to get it fairly decently unless you get mana screwed. But let's go into the creatures. Adept Water Shaper is just a great way to protect our creatures, right? It's going to make them indestructible, which is fantastic. Alesha is going to get a lot of our creatures back out from the graveyard. We have a good bit that have 2 or less power, so that's not bad there. Speaking of, Archetype of Courage is going to give all of our creatures first strike and going to make it so our creatures are opponent control lose first strike and can't have or gain it. So especially with our death touch creatures, that's going to be a pretty big deal. Ares, God of War, is attacking each combat. We're typically doing that anyways, right? But whenever an attacking creature you control dies, you return it to its owner's hand, so it's some protection, semi-protection, right? Assault Intercessor is great because whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, that player loses 2 life. So if you end up blocking Assault Intercessor, sure, yeah, that's fine, but you're going to be you're going to have to pay for it, right? Aurelia the War Leader, just fantastic to have here. Doesn't have first strike, but gives you extra combats, which of course in this deck is going to be fantastic because you get that +1/+0 until end of turn for each creature you control with first strike or double strike. So it's going to double up on that trigger. And just having a good blocker with Vigilance that can also attack, it's really good. Battle Angels of Tyr is fantastic, right? You can stack the Myriad trigger with the attack trigger here and make it so the Myriad resolves first, and then all of your creatures will get it. And if you have max speed, then you're giving them all first strike. You're getting extra buffed for it. Battle Angels of Tyr is just a great card in any kind of combat-centric meta. Battlefield Raptor, fantastic 1-drop, and you don't hate drawing this late game either, right? It still fills what your commander wants to do. It's not the best late game draw, but early game it's really much of a no-brainer. Bonehorde Dracosaur is going to be imperative for us to get some card advantage here in this deck. Mardu, famously not the best at card advantage, but there's some good stuff there. Bonehorde Dracosaur is one of them. Burnout Bastronaut is fantastic too. It's a 1-mana, 1/1 that has start your engines as well. And if you can get your engines going before your commander even hits the battlefield, that's pretty good, right? If you're already at 2 or 3 when your commander hits the battlefield, you're in great shape, right? And then Burnout Bastronaut can give itself double strike when you have max speed, so that's just really great to have there. Drana is a fantastic first striker that's going to buff all your creatures when they hit in for their double strike damage, including your commander. Gastel Thrill Seeker, another early start your engines card, and when it enters, it deals 1 damage to target opponent and you gain life. So how that works is if this is the first card you play with Start Your Engines, you get up to 1 speed, and then Gastel Thrill Seeker is going to deal 1 damage to target opponent, and you'll get a second speed off of that because your opponent's losing life that turn. Can't go above 2 in one turn, but you can get it up to 2 with just one creature, and I think that in itself is enough to get it in here. And then giving himself Death Touch is really nice. Your commander's going to be giving him First Strike too, so very good. And in late game, having that haste with the max speed is also pretty nice to have. Goldhound is a 1-mana First Strike Menace creature, but he can also be a mana dork, right, where he sacrifices himself to get you your mana, so you can get your commander out on turn 3, right, potentially, or you may want to keep a Goldhound on the battlefield and then get your commander out later, but yeah, pretty solid. Hazoret Godseeker, Indestructible Haste, also has Start Your Engines, and 2 mana. Yeah, so we've got a lot of those early ones. Can't attack or block unless you have max speed, but you can make target creature powered 2 or less can't be blocked this turn, which is amazing in this deck because your commander only gets the attack buff when he attacks. So you can use Hazoret's ability to make Tsagan unblockable, and then you attack with him, and he gets so big and can possibly kill 1 or 2 people that turn. Isheen, 2 Heavens is 1, is going to double that attack trigger, right, and giving all your creatures a massive power buff. And especially if you have max speed, giving them that power buff from First Strike just pretty much makes it unblockable, or like you're just going to lose your board to that, right? Kinscare Sentry, 2 mana 2/2 First Strike Lifelinker. When it attacks, you may put a creature with mana value X or less from your hand on the battlefield, where X is the number of attacking creatures you control. You have a good bit of low drop, power drop creatures or low mana value creatures that we can just drop without a ability that do pretty well, and so this is not bad to have. Knight of the White Orchid, fantastic here as a First Strike creature, but also can ramp us out, catch us up to our opponents, and get that tri-land or some of the dual lands we have. Legion Loyalist is going to be fantastic too, going to make it so that all creatures we control getting First Strike and Trample. Trample is really important here, right? If your commander and having Death Touch and Double Strike, giving it Trample is so good, and then makes it so your opponents can't jump block with tokens. So Legion Loyalist is just a really fantastic card here. Ocelot Pride, First Strike Lifelink, and going to make you a bunch of tokens, which is really nice. That token generation, like I said, is going to benefit your commander with its max speed ability to give all the tokens First Strike, so pretty good there. Professional Facebreaker is, as we deal in damage, we want to get more mana, right? So that's helpful there. Reckless Lackey, another 1-drop with First Strike and Haste. And you could sacrifice Reckless Lackey to draw a card and create a treasure. So, late game could be a 4-mana draw card. Not, really 3-mana draw card, but not the best in the world, but not terrible either, and very strong early game. Shadrick Silverquill, a double-striking dragon that just has a fun politicking ability. There are some better cards you could probably put in than Shadrix, but I think Shadrix is a fun card to have in, and it's going to get pretty big with your commander's ability, so that's pretty nice. Swiftblade Vindicator, I always have wanted to put this card in the deck, and this is probably the best one to have it in. Just giving it Double Strike, Vigilance, and Trample, and having your commander buff it so much means you don't have to spend a lot of resources to buff Swiftblade Vindicator, and he's just going to get so powerful, or she, right on the card, is going to get so powerful and really be a pain for your opponents. Thalia, Heretic Cathar, is going to make it harder for your opponents to block, so that's really, really strong here, right? You're dealing with their board state, and they're going to have to replay creatures, but they're going to be entering tapped, so very strong effect there. Welcoming Vampire is going to help us draw cards. Like we said, we have a lot of cards with low power, right, that are pretty great to have. But yeah, Shadrick Silverquill able to get brought back by Alessia, which is just wild to me, and very strong combination there. Titania, Proud Pummeler, is a First Strike melee and giving our other creatures melee, so for swinging wide on all of our opponents, going to deal that much damage to each of them is pretty strong to have there. And then the Speed Demon is also great, just drawing us cards, losing us some life there, but we don't care about that too much. That card draw is going to be really imperative. 6 sorceries here. We do have Ruinous Ultimatum, Toxic Deluge, and Expel the Interlopers to deal with the board. Expel the Interlopers is nice because we can keep all of our low power creatures, like our commander, right, and then destroy all of our opponent's big power creatures, so we love to have that. Jessica's Will is nice to have in the deck as some incremental card draw. It does mana fix us a little, get us a bunch of red, but That's typically not going to be a massive deal. You're really using this for the exile of the top 3 cards. Relentless Assault also is going to be fantastic. And then Andrag's Rampage, a really great card too, to get rid of our opponent's artifacts and get a free creature out. As far as instants, Chroma's Will is game ending, but, you know, with our commander out, you know, it might be game ending anyways, but this is sort of can gain us life, it can protect our creatures, it's a little versatile. Boros Charm, also a good protection spell. We've also got some fun cards here. You know, we got removal like Crackling Doom, Chaos Wards, D-Spark, English Unmaking, Crush Contraband, Inevitable Defeat, Generous Gift. Oh man, there's a lot. But Legion Leadership is really great to double your creature's power. Like your commander, right? And you typically do it after the ability resolves and then go from there. We've got a bunch of ramp, and then we also have the Swifties, the Lightning Greaves, and Shadow Spear. Shadow Spear giving that trample, just having more cards that do that is so good. And then for enchantments, we're also running 10 of those. We are doing pretty well here. All Out Assault is going to give all of our creatures Death Touch, and then going to give us extra combat, so just fantastic there. Blind Obedience, similarly to, you know, Thalia, going to make sure our creatures, our opponents control enter tapped. Artifacts too, which is fun, and then we can extort them to gain some life. Chivalric Alliance, we can get creatures out of this if we need to, but it's also mainly in here to draw cards. Endless Foot Assault is a very strong card, and we can squat it out to get multiple tokens, and again, these token generation is with max speed is just going to be so annoying for our opponents to deal with because our commander is going to be giving them first strike. Really going to need to protect our commander if we can. It is going to be target numero uno. Whenever our opponent draws their second card each turn, you need to create a treasure token that's Gleaming Splendor, and Mardu needs all the mana fixing it can get. Impact Tremors and War Leader's Call are great here to beef up the speed too, because early game, if people can get blockers down, it can be difficult to build your speed up. So cards like this that can deal damage when creatures enter will make them lose their speed, or make you gain speed as well. Rising of the Day is a good hasty card that buffs our commander and some other creatures in the deck too. Phyrexian Arena for some card draw, and then Windcrag Siege as a backup Isheen to double up on our attack triggers, so very good there. Running 35 lands, it's a bit low, but most of our creatures are low to the ground, right? We've got a couple that are, and maybe, you know, some of our spells like Ruinous Ultimatum, but, you know, the Speed Demon, Shadrix, and then we've got, you know, Bone Horde and Aurelia. That's about it, right? The rest are 3 drops and below, so don't really need a ton of lands, but yeah, pretty strong here. Let's dive into a playtest. Off the bat, we get 3 lands in the hand, so we'll take it. There's no ramp, not ideal. But we do have Ocelot Pride, which, honestly, I think we just play Legion Leadership tapped and pass. Next turn, we do get a Plains. We'll play the Path of Ancestry tapped, play the Ocelot Pride. And then next turn, and here, let's buff it up to 150 so you can see better. We've got another Plains. We can play our commander if we want to. Not bad. Hazoret's also decent. We want to start our engines and we want to get it to level 2. So I don't recommend playing Professional Facebreakers. What we could do is we could play our commander, and then Path of Ancestry, let's just scry. We'll keep that on top. We've got a lot of red mana. And then next turn we can play Hazoret and Impact Tremors and Hazoret to guarantee us get to 3, and then the following turn guarantee get to max speed. So we are in such a good position here with this opening hand. It is pretty crazy how that's going out. So let's try to do another hand. Yeah, another 3 lands. We will for sure keep this. Impact Tremors again. You know, and War Leader's Call. I'm gonna restart just because we have Impact Tremors again. I don't want to showcase that card twice. I'll do the same thing here because of Ocelot Pride. Okay, we'll keep this hand. There's not a lot going on in it, but we do have some good stuff here. Play Path of Ancestry, and next turn, we'll play the Swamp into the Rakdos Signet. Next turn, Gastel Thrillseeker is pretty good here to immediately get us to 2. But that's, and then we'll play our commander the following turn, because we have a Plains here. So I love playing Gastel Thrillseeker, getting to 2, and then also getting to play Gleaming Splendor. And I think that's how we go about it. He is a berserker, so if we cast him with Path of Ancestry, which it looks like we need to, all right, we can tap the mana to where this make Rakdos, this make white, use the white and the black for Gleaming Splendor, use the red and Path of Ancestry for this. We can scry. Another Talisman, I do like that. We can keep that there. And now we can, we're really cooking actually. We can potentially get a couple treasures here. Right, we will go ahead and I want to tap 3, probably play Sacred Foundry, pay 2 life. Tap 2 for the Talisman. And then tap. Maybe we don't pay the 2 life. And Path of Ancestry again. Mulligan Vampire is pretty good to have, but we actually don't have any creatures that go well with it right now, except for our commander. So I'm actually going to put that on the bottom. We need some more utility here. And then next turn we could play Adept Water Shaper and All Out Assault. It might have been better to play Hidden Hideout. And so that next turn we could play Sacred Foundry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Which would give us almost enough. If someone gets us a treasure here, we could have 8 for All Out Assault, then Adept Water Shaper to give our creatures Death Touch and Indestructible. And then we would have max speed. So very, very strong there. Yeah, pretty good to have. Yeah, but that's about it. That's a pretty fun deck and really strong too. If you're going to make it, let me know what you are going to put in. What are you going to take out? And otherwise, yeah, I hope you had a great time. I'll be back next week with some more Commander. Take care. Bye.